broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
You don't have to give it all away. You just have to get up, get up, get up, get up. You don't have to change a single thing.
Yes. You don't have to try.
Guys, this is my first time hearing this song besides the
What?
show. And I like Colby.
What?
I like,
I don't even like her and I've heard this song.
I don't know, I like the one that's,
What?
if you just realize what I...
Oh, yeah.
No.
That's like one of her most overplayed.
I've been trying to...
Hello, everybody.
Sorry.
What up?
Welcome back to AfterBuzz TV's after show for Pitch Slapped. Episode Rise of the Underclassmen. As you can tell, we're all very excited. I'm very excited.
I know this
we
song.
started the show off with Try, one of my favorite Colby
just heard
Kelly
it.
songs. I'm your host, Marisa Serafini. Joining me, full panel once again.
I'm Ty Matthews. You can find me on Twitter, on Instagram, at Ty Matthews PMA. I'm pretty hyped right now.
Yeah.
Like more so than usual. I'm not sure why.
You just keep this song, keep playing. That's awesome.
I'm Lindsey Miller. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Periscope at Rockin' Mama Life.
Hey everyone, Jeff Graham here. Thanks so much for tuning in. You can find me on Twitter at Jeffrey C. Graham and Instagram at Jeffrey Crane Graham. So many grams every week. Every week!
So many
Graham
grams.
crackers.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
get hungry every time I hear
Until
your
you
name.
change that Instagram handle.
I know, I might need to.
Swear to
No,
God.
he's
It's
got
right there for the taking.
He's got a flow for how he says his name now. Yes, and you can follow me on Twitter at Serafini TV. All right, Rise of the Underclassmen.
Yes.
Quick thoughts. What were your thoughts of this overall episode? Jeff, we'll start with you.
I said it after we finished it. If you guys didn't know, we all watch in studio together. Still love the competitions. The format is getting a little tired, which isn't anyone's fault besides the fact that they're only following two groups. Rockin' Mama Life over here brought up that they should, if this show gets renewed, definitely include at least one more team, because the point you brought up was that every week we know that they're not going to get eliminated, whereas if they had four teams and we're losing one every week, some drama.
To that point, though, I mean, we get it. Highland Voices is a small group, but Stay Tuned is a very big group.
Right.
Do you think if they got renewed and they brought in another team, say we follow three teams, and they were all fairly smaller, like Highland Voices size, do you think that would be better?
I think so. I mean, the big problem is with only two teams, like, there really wasn't enough drama to sustain my interest for the first half of the show this week. Whereas, like, you're more likely to have, like, more hospital visits or, like, deaths if there's more. I'm totally just kidding.
No.
But
Not
really,
a joking matter.
I'm totally
It's about
joking.
the music.
It's about the music, but you're more likely to just have things happen.
Yeah.
That was a joke. But, but no, but like,
I think every week's going to feature some sort of backpedaling.
it's just a little morbid. But it's true that like the more people and teams there are, the more likely like
You'll
stuff
still
happens.
be engaged.
Sure.
I think
Lindsay?
just
Still love the show, but
Yeah, I think just logistically, like that's what we were talking about. Is that it's so predictable at this point. Like we know that neither of them are going to be eliminated because then what would they do for the next two episodes? You know what I mean? So I think if they
There's no
followed
show.
more teams, there would be more show to have. So we're not feeling like, okay, yes, we're going to watch the rehearsals and we're going to see them perform it. It's really, really predictable at this point. Whereas if you have a couple more teams that you're dealing with, different dynamics, then you've got a little bit more to add in throughout the season. But overall, I thought, I enjoyed the performances this week. So.
Tyler, what were your thoughts? Do you agree with that?
I think for as structurally kind of safe as the show's becoming and as kind of formulaic as it's become, I feel like for some reason this was like one of my favorite episodes, and I think it was just because there was such strong emotional messages to both of the song choices. Like, whereas before we've just gotten like, oh, this is a fun one, or like, oh, this is like we're working on this part of our performance. But this week was two really, really heavy kind of messages that they could really get at the heart of. So I really enjoyed this week's episode, but I 100% agree as kind of formulaic as it's gotten, because it's like we were talking about it before we went live. It's very much like, all right, let's go to someone's house now. All right, they're having trouble rehearsing. All right, no, they're having trouble rehearsing, and competition.
Yeah. What about you, Marisa Serafini?
I enjoyed this. You guys saw my reaction when I found out that Stay Tuned was singing Try.
Marissa
She
lost
hates that
her
song.
mind.
Yeah.
I legitimately
I thought that
freaked
table
out,
was
you
about to
guys.
go, guys.
It was way
She
more
was-
than it should have been.
Yeah, like
But
a 14-year-old
I'll
girl.
just say there may or may not be an audio file out there somewhere in the world of me singing this song.
Uh-oh.
Zach, our producer, it's your job to find that before the end of the
Somebody
episode.
needs to find that.
I'm on it.
Thank you.
Zach really is on it.
Like,
Please
I'm not
find.
lying.
Oh, no. I believe you.
We will
So yes, I enjoyed the song. I did enjoy how, for the first time, we had both of these teams that were following. They sang the same type of type of song, and I think that and I think that reflects on just like where both of the teams, they're pairing up and they're on the same level,
Sure.
singing the same types of songs now. They're literally on the same playing field,
Yeah.
which is really fun. So let's get into it. So we'll start with Highland Voices this week because that's where we actually started. Coach Diana talking to the team, and we saw last week they lost for the first time, and we also saw them immediately blaming the song choice. But Diana's not really agreeing with that and actually plays back the video. What did you think of Highland's Voices realizing that, hey, it wasn't the song choice, it was actually them out of tune?
I didn't think that was going to happen that quickly, to be honest. Like,
I'm glad it did, though.
I thought there was going to be a lot more arguing, a lot more back and forth, and once they realized it, a lot more I told you so. I thought there was going to be a lot of that, but I felt like it was a very, very quick, like, hey, we think it was a song choice. Oh, here's the video. Oh, I guess it wasn't. Well, moving on.
Yeah, I think it was the smartest thing Diana could have done, and I hope that they do this after every performance. I just think, in any kind of performance related world or whatever, if you watch yourself afterwards, it's the most useful training tool to see, because a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, what you think you did and what actually was done are not exactly the same. And I think this was a case of that, where they went out and they felt like, we did everything we could with that song, so obviously it was the song and the choreography that we didn't win because of. And then they watched it back and they were like, or it could have been because we were out of tune.
It's funny though, last week I said I didn't love that song choice. I still feel the same way. Love you, Diana. I know you're probably tuning in. And it's true that the team lost because they didn't do as well as they could have. But I still think that song choice might have played in. But that's just me.
Well, I mean, song choice maybe, but the way the performance technically and actually physically how
Right.
it was executed was on them.
Right.
Also, you just don't tell your coach that. I think
Yeah.
you defer to your coach. That's what
I
I
think it
believe.
was just we witnessed the Highlands Voices immediately start pointing fingers at that's the thing to blame, not us.
right.
So I liked how they finally realized their faults and they're like, all right. So Diana now on board with them. They're like, we've realized this. Let's move on. Okay, and so they're singing Hallelujah, a very well covered song. I think a lot of
Overdone.
people, yes, definitely overdone. That's one of my mental
I'm not going to
notes.
lie, I don't think I had heard of this song before.
Really?
Have you ever
seen
watched
Shrek?
American Idol? Because
Shrek?
every
Have you
fifth
seen
contestant
any
does it.
musical production of anything?
Have you
ever?
breathed? Have you lived? Where have you
Apparently,
been?
I've been living under
Have
a
you
rock,
been
yeah.
on YouTube?
Hallelujah! It's a great song. We do
It
love
is
this
a
song.
I loved it.
It's a beautiful
now,
song.
now I love it.
It's so good that everyone does it though.
Everyone
That's
does it.
the
I don't get
problem.
tired of it. Honestly, I love the song, but it is very frequently performed.
Yes.
But I don't get. I love that song.
You listening to it in your car
Every day,
every day?
twice.
What do we think of the audition process that Diana? It was a different type of feel. Everyone wants to audition for this one.
Yeah, I loved that everyone's hand shot up when she asked. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
It's fun. I like their audition process because you can tell they really support each other. It's fun to watch. I think a lot of groups that don't have as healthy of a group relationship will kind of have passive-aggressive condescension towards each other, but they all really listen and enjoy other people's auditions, which is fun.
Yeah, and I think it's nice because we get to see them supporting each other and see how much they value each other's talent, because it's a group of incredibly talented individuals that are coming together to create a great team, and it's really nice to see them supporting each other and acknowledging the incredible talent that everybody else has. I mean, like, literally, they all killed it. We have no idea who she's going to give this solo to because they were all amazing.
And I think for as much as we've seen a family dynamic evolve out of Stay Tuned, I think a lot of people don't realize that it feels like Highland Voices is just as much of a unit, of a familial unit, with everyone kind of, like you said, supporting each other and really wanting everyone to improve.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's like two schools of thought on how people come together. It's either, they come together because they're led by a really great leader that helps them come together as a team and a family, which we see in Stay Tuned, or you're sort of brought together through your struggles or mutual distaste, and it seems to be that Highland's Voices has come together sort of like us versus her. They've come together against
You think
Diana.
so?
Yeah, a little bit. I do.
Interesting.
I sense
Okay.
it a bit too.
They
Yeah.
definitely build it up that way, but in the end, they may not like each other, but they still can perform well and work
Right. It's
together.
means to an end. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do we think? We know the song Hallelujah. If you don't know the meanings behind it, the lyrics, about a relationship. Were you? And granted, Highland Voices is a small group, and there's only one relationship that goes on in that group. Were you surprised that it was going to go to Vanessa and Andrew?
I might have seen on Twitter beforehand that it was going to.
Say
So
So I can't
media.
honestly answer.
Come on.
We're West
media.
Coast. It was on East Coast. There was a lot of
Come on.
action in the Twitter feed, and I happened to look at it while waiting in line.
Well, to
Okay,
answer.
so watching that, if you were to
No.
go off just the watching
I
the audition
certainly,
process,
as someone
you
that
think-
didn't
No?
get the show spoiled for me on Twitter, I didn't see that coming at all. I thought that they were gonna announce Vanessa, and I think what I thought was the intention to kind of build it up like you expected it to be Andrew, and then they were gonna swerve and give it to, I don't know, Dan maybe.
Dan was really strong. I thought Andrew was incredible.
He was amazing, absolutely.
I
And
thought
he
he was.
brought it
I
to
was
sleep.
like, okay, Andrew, like been sleeping in the back there,
Especially
and
for a
has-
bass, he was getting up
Yeah,
there.
he had. I thought he had great, like, a really great tone, and I was really surprised, like pleasantly surprised by his performance because we haven't seen him want to solo.
Right.
And it was. I wasn't surprised that he got it. Just vocally, I thought he did really great.
Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was really smart choices on Diana's part to cast those two. Obviously, she had to push past the hurdle of them being in a relationship, and we'll talk about whether or not we thought that worked in competition. I think we have some disagreement.
Well, the hurdle of being in a healthy relationship,
Right,
as opposed to
exactly,
what
yeah.
she's going for with the performance.
But yeah, I was really, really happy with how both of them sounded on the solo. I mean, everyone in that group is really great for high school kids, and in general. I mean, it's a lot of talented voices on this show, which
Yeah.
makes it fun.
I think I saw it was definitely predictable because after all these episodes, Andrew's the only one who we still haven't seen solo. So
Right.
eventually he was going to get his time. So it made sense it would go to him. And then the way that they were pairing up with all the other teams that they're competing, and they had the fun little playful moment
with
with
Sam.
Sam and Vanessa. You saw the shots cutting to Andrew and his jealousy, quote unquote.
Oh yeah.
You knew Diana was going to put the relationship on the pedestal and be like, go, have fun.
And Phil goes, "Mr. See your girl."
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Phil. Always
So-
our comic relief.
I think for entertainment purposes, but also for singing purposes as well. It
I
made
think
the
he
most
deserved
sense.
it.
Yes.
he
Sure.
deserved
It definitely made the most sense that both of these two got this particular song.
Yeah.
All right. And so during the rehearsals, Andrew's having a hard time connecting to the song. Do you agree with Diana's way and how she was interpreting? She wanted an angry relationship. Did you like that choice?
I like that a lot. I think that it's like she said, it's a stronger choice than the Disney ending. I think a lot
I
of
love
people
Disney.
a lot of people could go out
Me
there,
too.
and as great as Disney musicals are, we know that. And I think a lot of people could go out there and just do a happy love song and, like she said, kind of embrace at the end and everything's hunky dory. But I think it takes even more talent and even more complexity and depth to go out there and really portray kind of the layers of a troubled relationship, because there's so much more happening there. There's so many different, conflicting and competing emotions in a situation like that. And so I think that really spoke to their talent, that they were able to kind of even take that on in the first place.
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple things. I love when someone makes a bold choice to interpret something in a new way. So I applaud Diana for making a choice that is unique in her interpretation of this song. However, I would not have made that choice. I agree with Andrew, and I think part of the issue he was having was that to him, this song, to me, this song's not even about a relationship, but certainly not like a aggressor, submissive, whatever, like relationship she was portraying. And so I think what he was struggling with was that he wanted to do this song and was connected to this song because he had a personal connection and interpretation of it that was his own and it was personal. And I think the choice she made was so different from how most people interpret that song that I think he was really struggling with how he feels when he hears that song and he sings that song versus how she wanted him to perform that song. And I think that that's really challenging as an artist if you hear something and interpret something in one way and you have to perform it in a distinctly different manner. So I think that's...
Be the mean guy, she says.
I I agree with what you're saying to an extent. I think it's not necessarily that he didn't have the same interpretation. It was maybe just that he wasn't maybe old enough or mature enough to be able to portray those emotions. Which I don't want to undersell high schoolers, but yeah, first of all, I did like the choice. I was glad Diana made that choice, and I think it was the right one for a number of reasons. Even if high schoolers weren't ready to portray a song in that way, I think pushing kids to really push themselves artistically like that is going to pay off for them a lot in the long run. And I think the decision worked 90%, enough that they deserve the win this week.
And I think that's one of the major recurring themes that we've seen is these really deep, emotionally kind of dense and complex songs that they do have to really push through to portray.
Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I think it was interesting how Andrew did, he was a man enough to say he didn't understand and he didn't want to be the mean guy towards his girlfriend, towards someone he's also performing against, so in the musician aspect as well. I liked how he realized he was having struggles with it, but then he did work through it. And then we did see the moment where he's like, all right, I'm now starting to connect with it. The whole passive, dominant, submissive type of choice was interesting, especially for the song that we've heard so many times. We haven't seen this interpretation. So I like that Diana did something different for us to remember this type of version of a song that a million people have heard 1.5 million times.
I think now being new to the song, this is going to be the one interpretation
that's going to be burned into your memory.
Yeah.
So good on you, Diana. You made us remember.
You've seen Shrek, right?
I mean, like, when it first came out, maybe.
Yeah. But probably the kids who are watching don't even
You
know
don't
what
have to
Shrek
watch
is.
Shrek. Just watch, like, every season of American Idol.
Yeah.
Every season of
The Voice.
The Voice, X Factor, and America's Got Talent. Any reality competition show that has music involved in it, go watch it. You'll eventually come across all of it.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Stay tuned. Yes. So they off of a win. They're very excited. Deke puts the trophy in a case on display. They had their little celebration. I thought this was sweet.
So
Absolutely.
sweet.
I kind
I
of
put
love
in my notes very glee.
Yeah.
So glee.
I was gonna say I love the contrast between we like move into Highland Voices right at the beginning and it's like shade was thrown last week. Blah 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 blah. Then we cut stay tuned. It's like party. Stay tuned. I was like, oh.
Let's toast our water.
Right.
And I'm like,
Tiny little
high
bubbles
school,
on.
they're toasting water.
Yeah. Throw it back.
Apple juice. Or
Yeah.
milk.
I thought this was very sweet. So
That's weird.
They got their moment of, all right, we won. Now let's keep moving forward and let's do better. It's like we can't just go off of a win now. Still be like, all right, we won, we're done.
Right.
No, you keep pushing forward. So their song, Try, Kobe Calais. I'm very excited about the song,
She's
you guys.
so
It's
excited
really
about
bad.
this.
Really, really bad.
Just try to chill. Thank you. Thank you.
But don't
Get out.
All right. Oh, we should have just prefaced this show that, yes, it is week 2 of the Summer Invitationals. They are up against, it's another competition, 4 teams. We have, stay tuned, Highland Voices, Solfege, which we've seen before, and a new team that we haven't seen, but they're not really new. They've been around, Unaccompanied Minors.
Which I love that name.
Great name.
Such a good name.
I just
Fantastic.
think of the movie.
Right, exactly.
Oh man.
I haven't seen the movie, but I love this.
It works on so many levels.
Yeah.
So many levels.
So
So
funny.
Just got it. I'm not gonna lie. Just now got it.
Yeah, there's so many.
Just
Well, there's
right now.
also,
Oh my
minor in music.
No, I got. That's
yeah.
That's what I got.
Yeah.
Just-
And unaccompanied, as
No,
in. Okay,
no, I got
we're
it.
good.
Yeah.
Minors, not minors.
In case you guys didn't
That all-
understand.
That all just exploded in my head right this
It is a
second.
multifaceted pun.
It sure is.
Yes.
It was very good. All right. So I liked how Deke's message, he says that you guys aren't in choir anymore, but you have the potential to win the entire thing. We saw last week there was that brief moment of doubt that Deke was like, I would not bet on you right now. But now, after they won, and Deke's now saying, you guys can now win it all. I love this.
Yeah.
That's how you start the next competition. You boost your team up. You're like, you won, you can win everything.
You know what?
Motivation.
You know what I like about Deke is I feel like, yes, he's like, happy, like fun dad or whatever. But I feel like he's really genuine. There's like a lot of people that are like,
definitely.
oh, you're great, you're fantastic, you sound beautiful or whatever. And it's not genuine. And I feel like he really is, like when he's saying those words, I feel like he legitimately is now also realizing you guys could really win this thing. And it's so genuine and real that it's great to see. And I feel like, I don't know, it's really nice to see that. Like,
So,
honesty.
Yes, Try is a very emotional song. It's all about self-acceptance and self-image. And once you can accept yourself for who you are, you can accept other people. And I think that's the beautiful message of that song. So we get Ashley, apparently one of the more timid, more introverted people of the Stay Tuned group. And Deke chooses her. Do you think this has the audience seen enough time with her to realize that she's the perfect choice for this song?
No, and I think that actually worked for this episode. I think in terms of, we talked obviously a lot about the formula, and I think if you're going to create drama from anywhere, it's that, is she going to get over her nerves? Is she going to get over this sort of introversion to be able to pull off such a strong and such an emotionally complex song? Yeah. And it was interesting that it was that Deke just gave it to her. I mean, obviously we couldn't sit through 21 auditions in an hour-long show, but yeah. So I think that worked for sure.
Have there been auditions in Stay Tuned yet?
This is the first time they've actually had a single soloist.
Oh, you're right.
That's right. Yeah.
So, and I don't even know that they have auditioned, but I also feel like Deke
Not that we would.
has such a
Right.
strong hold musically on the arrangements that he's putting together that I think he thinks about each and every
Right.
person of that team and how they fit in. And I'm sure he's done, like one-on-one with all of them to know where their voices are and their strengths or
You're
whatever.
right. When Marissa and I talked to him, he talked about every arrangement he does, he thinks of the group. So it was really cool. His philosophy on arrangements, sorry to interrupt, by the way, is that he will, an arrangement is a living, breathing thing, and each group should revoice it and take the core concept but write it specifically for that group, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so this group, first time for a solo arrangement, 18-part. 18-part arrangement, or sorry, single solo, and then 18-part arrangement. God, me and numbers.
Which is like incredibly hard. Like
Music
if
show,
you
guys.
don't sing or doing, like, I am not a singer. I am a dancer who sings. But it is so hard to do that, to do any kind of like harmony or like when there's multiple people doing different things, to be the only person doing your part and there are 17 other people singing something else is like incredibly hard.
We got to remember, there's 21 of them. There's 18 arrangements.
But I think he said
well,
one person per voice. Well,
Yeah,
let's see.
he said one.
If there's a beatboxer and a soloist and someone was sick that day, then that's how it all works out. 18 parts.
There you go.
Guys, we
Nailed it.
did the math.
Well,
Got this figured out.
Did the
No,
math.
because we lost one, right? We lost that one girl.
Is
Nicole went to
still
Texas.
there?
Nicole went to Texas.
Right. She
She
must have.
she was there.
Nicole
Was
was
she
there?
there?
Yeah.
Why have we not seen her
Yeah.
sing
She
yet?
was one of the prom girls.
Maybe she's going to
Are
be the
you
revolution.
sure?
I'm 100% sure. Yeah.
She had an incredible
What's
voice.
the chat? The chat will know.
Guys, is
All
Nicole
right,
in Texas?
Ashley gets the solo. We see that we go to Ashley's house, and her mom is a professional jazz singer, so she has some history with music. And she grew up with music, so she knows she has the ability and whatnot. But I thought this was sweet, seeing, you know, every time we get a soloist from Stay Tuned, we always go to their house, or we go to a friend's house and something. So we get more intimate with whoever, you know, is singing that week. And I love it.
I loved
was
it. Yeah.
sweet.
Second generation
Yeah.
singer. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a little
I might have
misty-eyed.
teared up.
Me too.
on
I got
that.
100%. Yeah.
I really wanted the mom to
Lindsey's
be
checking
like
out, you guys.
a real jazzy, like, "Hey, kid, you gotta make right," like one of those.
Oh my God.
Do you guys watch Broad City?
You
Like,
want her to just
No.
be like draped over
Why
a
do you
baby
bring up
grand
Brexit?
as she's talking to her daughter?
She's like, "At
hey.
last, my daughter got a solo." Thank you, everyone. We can move on, Marissa. You take it away.
Yes, let's do that.
I have no words.
During the rehearsals, Deke puts mirrors in front of them, which I thought this was a great character choice.
I liked it a lot.
Or
Loved
like,
it.
maybe
Yeah.
not character choice, just like performance choice to help them really enhance their performance. Dancers do the same thing. Dance studios surrounded by mirrors, so you can always watch yourself and perfect whatever you're doing. So I thought this was great, and it's also literally your reflection and what the song means, and what if you can't accept your self-image, you can't. Well, what did he say? You can't accept yourself. How can you sing a song about accepting others? Brilliant. He hit the nail on the head, right there.
Yeah.
It was
I thought it
awesome.
was really smart. I think that, you know, we've seen Deke is a smart coach. And I think that you hit the nail on the head. It's like if you can't look at yourself in the mirror and accept what you see, you can't get this. And I think that he knew that they were going to struggle with that because they're teenagers. And even as adults, like you look in the
know.
mirror, like people
Yeah.
struggle with
So I was thinking.
self-image. But like especially teenagers, I mean, the struggle is real. High school is rough. Like no
Hashtag
matter
puberty's
where,
hard.
Puberty time?
We all
but like
know.
no matter where you fall in like the social spectrum, like it's hard. Everybody, the most popular kid and the least popular kid, all struggle with self-image. You're going through so much change. It's just an awful time, like for self-image and whatever. And having them sit there and look in the mirror, I think really brought out the emotion that he needed for that song, for them to really connect with the real stuff that you kind of bury down deep and you don't want to talk about and you don't want to think about, but it's very real for each and every one of them.
Yeah, and we've seen these creative choreography choices from Deke before. These skits, as Diana was
Skits,
call them,
quote unquote. Gimmicks and skits.
And so, but I love. I mean, I feel like just from what I've seen, that's kind of a lot of the part of it is being creative with your choreography and kind of telling a story. And so I think using the mirrors in that way was such a good. Like, I'm surprised we didn't see it earlier. You know?
Yeah.
But with this song specifically, obviously, very
needed it.
appropriate.
Well, and on that note, Deke to me is an artistic director. Mm-hmm. You know, he doesn't choreograph steps. He doesn't choreograph production numbers. He's an artistic director, and he's looking at it from that eye. He's creating a feel that is about the song, about telling a story, and you can call it a skit, you can call it what you want, but
Yeah, and he said it himself. The Stay Tuned's weakest, one of their not their strongest points is choreography. So what he did better is storytelling. So he definitely conveyed that message. So they're at a prom, girls are lined up doing their makeup, and then the guys come up, and it's always that sinking feeling that who is anyone going to ask me to the prom? Is anyone going to ask me to dance, or even going to go to prom? I didn't, but it's that message that all teenagers can relate to. And I really like that because that also reflects with the message of the song. It's like, do you change your self-image just so everyone else can accept you? And it's like, no. And so during the rehearsals, we have Megan is the chosen one who's left alone. But at the end, they all come together, realize she's alone, and they're all there together.
And I love that moment. That was
so sweet and powerful.
such a strong, powerful moment. That hit me really hard. Yeah. And you saw like from Megan's reaction,
She
like
cried.
you can't not be affected by that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are you gonna cry right now, Ted?
Oh, PMA. I love it.
That's a big heart.
What I was going to say is, yeah, so some of Deke's... I love that Deke always makes strong choices no matter what. Historically, I haven't been 100% on all of them, but this worked really well, I thought, and was like very age appropriate and like very... In the same way that I think Diana's choice may have been a bit outside of the age and experience of high schoolers.
Right.
I think this was like so spot on with what high schoolers know, and that's why it worked so well for me.
Yeah, it was relevant and it was real. I loved it, but there's this small little feminist part of me that really hated it.
Yeah.
Because it, as much as I get what the story he was trying to tell, inherently in that story is all of the cliched stuff you're trying to break away from.
Yeah.
You know, like I wish that, why did all the girls have to be chosen for the prom?
Yeah.
Why are the girls sitting there doing their makeup the whole time? You know, like it just, I get it, and artistically for what he was trying to do, it set the message and it was great, but I think he had an opportunity to make a greater message out of it.
You know, I thought the same thing, and Diana actually mentioned it, which I thought was interesting and funny, but the way I interpreted it was that they like were using makeup as a way to cover up.
And I get it. That's exactly what he was doing. He wasn't saying like, oh.
And in fairness, I mean, Diana did point out last week with Love Shack that the choreography was very literal. It's also very literal with this song. It's like the lines,
put
the
your
lyrics,
makeup on,
put your makeup on, get your nails
Take it
done.
off.
Get your hair done. It's like, again, I think it was the literal choreography that maybe we might be overthinking.
Yeah.
But during the rehearsals, Nick's
an interesting
tempo
point, though.
was
I did
kinda
love
off.
when she said like they're putting on so much makeup.
Yeah.
Well, they're teenagers.
But it's just, I think it was only because that's such a long part of the song that you kind of have to just keep doing it.
Put your
Gotta do it.
makeup on for the
Alright.
fifth time.
Keep putting
Which,
it
by the
on.
way, there's nothing more awkward than like trying to do everything that you do in daily life, but like
Multitasking.
pantomiming it, like pretending, like you just inherently become an awkward human being. You're like, what? Who does that? Like,
Oh, I
nobody
know.
ever does that.
I would have been so bad at it. I would have been like, put your makeup on. Like, there's no way Jeff's
I
brain
don't even
could
know
have done.
what you just tried to do, but that was not.
That's not putting
not
on
okay.
makeup.
I'm telling you.
That's how you guys do it, right?
During the rehearsal, they because it is such an emotional song, they've been performing it for 2 days straight. Deke's worried that they're losing the emotional wave that they're on, that they are getting maybe not exhausted, but they're starting to lose it, that momentum. And so again, Deke's always worried that hey, if they don't keep it up, they can get eliminated.
Right, and it's hard to keep something like that up when you're just like really, really kind of I don't even know what the word I'm looking for, but when you're really, really workshopping a song that hard, it's hard to keep up the emotional resonance throughout the entire time.
Absolutely. All right, let's get to competition.
Yeah.
All right, 4 teams. The Stay Tunes, Highland Voices, Sulfridge, and Unaccompanied Minors. Let's go in the order in which they were.
Sulfridge.
You knew it.
Yeah.
I like it so much better than Solfege. I wish they were called Sulfridge.
Sulfridge.
All right, well, Unaccompanied Minors, their main singer was Jacob. The youngest, he's a freshman, 14 years old. They sang Radioactive by Imagine Dragons. What did you think of this? Real quickly, let's get through them.
I mean, I don't want to be influenced too much by what Andrew said, but I think he got it dead on. It's just kind of like it wasn't really that creative. It was good, you know. It was good.
It sounded like Imagine Dragons.
But yeah, exactly. It sounded like an a cappella group singing Radioactive.
It wasn't original.
And so for as impressive as Jacob was, it wasn't really as creative as it needed to be to truly be a great performance.
Lindsey?
I thought Jacob was adorable, and I want to put him like in my pocket. He's super cute, little 14-year-old, and he's gonna have, you know, I would love to see where he goes from here. I think Ashley actually nailed it, where she said, you know, they put on a good show, but there's like nothing behind it. There's no emotional connection. There, you know, that song is a really powerful song, and it was just a bunch of, you know, talented kids doing some steps and singing the song, and there wasn't really a whole lot of connection to it or storytelling happening there.
Jeff?
I would love to see that group break off into 2 groups because I think they had more people than Stay Tuned. There
Do you
was
think?
so
It did
many
seem
There was a
very,
lot.
very large.
It was
yeah.
a big group.
It's a really big group. And I was going to say they could benefit from some cuts, but they don't even need to do that. If they just made 2 12-person groups or more, I don't know. I just think it would be...
We'll have the junior varsity
Right.
and the
A team
varsity.
and
Yeah.
B team.
I would love... I think it'd be interesting to see what would happen if they made that choice because they were too big, I think. But good. I mean, they were good enough.
I mean, it's a great song. Jacob, great singer. He has the potential to be awesome. I think for that type of song, his voice was still a little too high.
Right,
And
yeah.
it took me
he was
out of
young.
it. Yeah, he's very
He's
young.
young.
but
very young.
He sounded young
But
for the
the
song.
voice
Exactly,
hasn't
yeah,
cracked
for the song,
yet.
definitely.
For the song, his voice was too high.
Yeah, I'd love to hear him sing like a diva song to see what he brings. You know what I mean?
Sure.
He would probably rock it.
I
That'd
know.
be pretty dope.
He had attitude. I mean, he owned it. I
Yeah.
thought it was
All right,
adorable.
stay tuned and try. What did you think? Tygo.
I think Ashley killed it. I really enjoyed it. I mean, like, you know, we keep talking about how strong the song was, but I think it really came through visually at the end when we see that visual of Megan sitting front and center and the entire Stay Tuned just kind of like advancing towards her. But I think it told a really great message, and I think that Ashley, for as nervous as she was, I think she really did it. I think she made her mom proud. I like that.
I thought Ashley sounded amazing as well. I wrote down that I wish I could have seen this live, and you know the camera work on this show is great. However, these pieces are choreographed for stage,
Right.
and there's a very different quality, and I think you lose a lot of it when you have these cuts to individual people and stuff like that. And I get it, you're trying to tell a story, but I wish I could have seen the story that Deke staged, because I thought that from what I saw in the rehearsals and the clips that I saw, it looked like he had really smart, connected staging with a really good message. And I feel like I didn't really get the emotion of the song watching it in that final performance because of the camera work, because you couldn't get that feel of everybody really coming forward from this, you know, more disconnected place because of how the camera shot it. So that was my only
That's the first time I've realized I wanted that until you
Yeah.
said it, because it did take away this week for the first time,
Yeah.
I think. Only problem I had was I think it was a little rushed.
Yes.
Okay.
I had that in my notes too.
It's actually funny. Deke, it's the only time Deke's ever said something I disagreed musically. He was telling Ashley to follow the beatboxer earlier in the episode, and I was kind of thinking, no, the
following
beatboxer always follows the soloist.
Nick was having problems with the tempo during rehearsal.
Yeah. Oh, was that Stay Tuned? Yeah.
Yeah, for Stay Tuned.
Yeah, and I think it's probably the nature of having such a big group. The beatboxer has to drive the group, but I would have loved. I think the soloist drives the song, and the group supports the soloist. And I think Ashley, she was rushed a little bit and didn't have enough time to really sit on the solo like she wanted to. But I thought she sounded amazing. They sounded amazing. I'm being hypercritical, but yeah, they sounded great.
I said, Jeff, you and I pretty much have the same notes. I said they sounded great.
Mm-hmm.
They had a true moment, and I felt the message was clear cut. We definitely got that. It's funny that I shouldn't say funny, but interesting you bring this up, Lindsay. That visually you weren't there. I didn't really watch it. I was more so listening to it because I was writing my notes. But I really picked up that the song sped up. And that's some parts of like the lyrics can be said fast, but the overall message is a fairly slower song. It's a slower beat. And I felt like the first 10 to 15 seconds were fine, but afterwards you could slowly hear it speed up. And that took me out of it because I love the song so much. I hear it repeatedly, and I knew when I was like, it's not supposed to be that fast.
Yeah, agreed.
So overall sounded great though. Sounded great. Ashley, you were awesome. Okay, let's go to Solfege. And we have Sam. Sam,
What a voice.
the redhead. Which was, and they sang the A-Team Ed Sheeran. Whoa, what a voice.
This is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
What a voice.
Incredibly talented.
Jeff, let's start with you.
Yeah, I mean, like, hard to deny the talent in that kid. Like, really tasteful solo, which, like, a lot of people with that voice don't know how to sing a solo tastefully.
Yeah.
And I thought he, like, was really beautiful, super in tune. Yeah, like, it was just... I can tell he hasn't totally discovered, like, the potential of his voice yet. Like, I'd love to hear that kid in college, but... man, he's got a future in singing for
Yeah.
sure. Really good solo. Arrangement, okay, but great solo.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, undeniably super, super incredibly talented. I love that song. So,
Yeah.
you know. And I think it just felt effortless. It felt like he was just one of those people who's born to sing. And I'm sure he works really, really hard at it. But there's just some people that just are born with it. And I think he's one of those people. I thought visually, meh, you know.
Right.
And I wrote down without Sam, ?
Right.
I was so captivated by his performance, and I think it's a double-edged sword when you have a soloist that's that incredibly talented, that I don't know if I just didn't pay attention to anybody else, or if the group was really resting on him carrying the performance. So
Actually, really quick, the interesting thing is because they only get one song choice, normally you compete with 3.
Oh.
And like you would always choose a song like that second because you start with a big intense group number and then a solo feature and then like another kind of rousing. The problem is I think if you only have one song choice, you never do like a solo feature like that because
Yeah.
that's what happens.
Yeah.
It's Sam in the group instead of the group.
Right.
yeah.
So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I can't really add much that you guys haven't said. I was absolutely floored by that performance, and it's always interesting to me when I see solo performances and not really knowing the technical side of it. Like, I think I'm just kind of, you know, going in really, I don't know what the right word is, but not necessarily unprepared, but just kind of like raw ears, basically. And so this absolutely just, I mean, Sam killed it. I was expecting to see more of the dynamic, the triangle that they kind of teased a little bit.
Yeah.
Between Andrew, Vanessa, and
I
Sam.
know.
Like perhaps a pre-performance hug.
Right. But I do love
Secret
that
handshake
I do
or
love that moment with Vanessa where she's like, "Oh, I love Sam,
I love Sam."
but I hope we still beat him."
I thought that was fun to watch. I'm glad that they didn't take it any farther. It just set
Sure.
up the audience as like, this is who you're supposed to watch out for. I think Sam's voice was fantastic. Fantastic. Lindsay, you said you only heard him. I only heard him, but I'm okay with that.
Right.
You've heard me talk about other performances, people who've had their one solo and you can't remember anyone else, but that bothered me. This didn't bother me
Yeah.
because he was
He's
so
that
damn
good.
good.
Yeah.
He was so good. I also made a note. I think it was interesting that all the women in part of this group were all long-haired brunettes. Did you notice?
Interesting.
There were no blondes.
Discriminatory.
Maybe that was a character choice.
What
A lot of
your voice
Italians.
just-
I don't know. That's
No.
weird.
Perhaps just
That's
no
crazy.
blondes went out for the
I just find
full-fledged
it
team.
physically that was interesting that all the women, they all had long hair that was straight and down, and brunettes.
A lot of Italians on the East Coast, maybe.
This is true.
Maybe.
Yeah.
A lot of Italians.
Not that that took away or added anything to her performance because Sam was still great. All right,
Yeah.
Highland Voices, hallelujah.
Great.
Great.
Vanessa and Andrew, dang.
Yeah,
they
right.
sounded great.
Yeah.
Nice job, guys, if you're listening.
And Vanessa especially, just like,
Yeah.
especially near the end of this song, just the raw emotion on her face was absolutely overwhelming.
I think she scared herself. I think she didn't mean to have her voice
No,
crack,
that
which
was-
I love
yeah.
that.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. And she
yeah.
was like, whoa, I'm in this, which was fun.
What do you think of the wardrobe choice being all white, which shows, in a way, purity, and with the red scarf and the red wristband ribbon thing?
It was
that
heavy on
Andrew had.
heavy on the symbolism, and Sam from Stay Tuned was not feeling that.
So
Sam's
yeah.
like, what?
I think it's interesting she picked white because of they were supposed to be angry dominant, and they're in white, which you would think it'd be a darker color like black.
Well, they were uncorrupted, but it was the red
Red that
that
was
symbolized the
holding.
broken relationship.
Anger.
Yeah. It was a little heavy-handed.
It was a lot. I mean, you know, it's art. And art is interpreted by people in different ways. If this was a painting, I wouldn't put it on my wall, but I still appreciate the art of it. You know, that she made a choice and they were deliberate, and she was telling a story that she believed and that they believed, and they told the story Diana wanted them to tell beautifully. I wouldn't read that story if I had to choose out of the library, but I thought the song was beautiful and powerful and amazingly performed. I thought, you know, we've seen Vanessa before and we know she has a great voice, but I think that this performance really elevated her in that. Like, I mean, her voice was incredible and her performance was authentic and real, and I didn't see a whole lot of Broadway in it, which is a huge compliment. That it was like very raw and real, which the song needed.
All right, Jeff, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I was kind of sharing. Oh, I guess we haven't really talked about the performance yet. Yeah, great solos. I'm trying to think if there's anything I haven't said or that hasn't been said yet. Good arrangement. Here's one thing I really liked. I think Diana coached that out of them too. Like, props to her because
Right.
she pushed those kids.
She did.
And they really brought it. And like, I think they deserve the big old W this week.
Sure.
Yeah,
Which they got.
She pushed the dominance, and I definitely got that to
And
the point where the voice screaming. I was off put a bit because again, I mean, Andrew, when he sung by himself, holy crap, everyone heard him, and that was beyond brilliant.
So strong.
It was amazing to the point where I was taken back, but
Yeah.
kind of in a good way.
Surprised
Right.
and
Yeah.
like,
I was kind of floored.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, so yes, Jeff, you brought up they won.
Yeah, and just
Voices won.
to touch on that,
Congratulations,
I love for as much as we've seen Andrew and Diana butt heads, I feel like this was a really, really awesome moment to see of them kind of like teaming up and seeing what they could do together between his solo performance and her, like you said, being able to coach that sort of emotional performance out of him as well.
Yeah.
And
Like that.
sometimes, to add to that, sometimes the best performance, the best team you can have is a coach who doesn't get along with the player because you will see better end results because there's so much fighting means like they're on the same page in some way.
Whiplash. You guys see that movie?
I was just
Whiplash.
thinking that.
See, I was thinking
Such-
sports, and
Yeah.
I could pick
Yeah.
athletes with certain coaches that they're notoriously known for not getting along,
Right.
but somehow they always.
But
in
it
the
works for
end,
some people,
It
yeah.
works, and that's what I was thinking. So maybe that's just the relationship. Andrew and Diana, they don't get along on screen, but something happens where something magical comes out of all that.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's get to the scores. Fourth place, who also gets eliminated, unaccompanied minors, they got 70 out of 90. And then we have third place, Solfege, 72 out of 90. And then second place was Stay Tuned. They got 80 out of 90. They didn't win. They got second place. They're not eliminated, but this was their highest score yet.
Yeah,
Deke was very happy about that. Are we happy?
absolutely. And I think
I'm not sure who's
right.
gonna win.
And even just in terms of the arc of the show, I did think that Highland's Voices were going to drop another competition in a row just to really, up their game.
Right. Yeah, I think this is one of the first weeks where I thought the scores are very fair and reasonable across the board.
Right.
Yeah.
I actually think, no offense to unaccompanied minors, they may have been overscored a bit. A 70 is pretty generous,
Huh?
but maybe not. I don't know.
Don't you start backpedaling. You own it. You
I
own it,
panicked.
Jeff.
They all
You
made
think
faces,
they
you
shouldn't
guys.
have gotten 70? That is your opinion.
You
That's
own
true.
it.
But yeah, I'm not sure Highland's Voices was only like 15% better than unaccompanied minors, which is what those scores would suggest.
If
Yeah, I see what
anything,
you're saying.
Highland Voices got the highest score in the vocal performance for sure.
High score voices.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so with that, let's go to. Well, before we go to predictions, I will throw out the fun question again because I haven't asked this in a couple of weeks. What is a fun song you think that should be arranged?
Ooh, I just thought of one right now.
What's that?
I got so excited. I want
Okay,
to see
we'll just do it now.
Highlands. I want to see Highland's Voices sing "Some Nights" by Fun.
Ooh, okay.
Some nights,
Okay.
yes. All right.
They're a good size for that song.
Want to see Stay Tuned. Do Britney Spears Hit Me Baby One More Time?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
All right.
I'm going to just
I like
shamelessly
that.
steal your idea. I'm going to go with Fun, but I'm going to go with Be Calm by Fun.
I don't know it.
Do you know that
No,
song?
sing it first.
That
Ty.
song, nope. My singing days are long gone. That's not actually that different from
All right.
how it goes.
I'm going to take it farther than all you. I'm going to go back
Get
to
it.
the 90s
Get it.
because
Get
90s
it.
is my life.
Sure.
The
Do you guys remember the song by Delamitri, Roll to Me?
Yes,
Love it.
absolutely. I
No.
remember that song.
Well, pretty baby, is it everything you hope to be?
Yes. I don't know names of songs or artists, but if you sing a
That
couple
song
words.
is so freaking fun just on its own. It would be fun to see someone bring that back to today's
There we go.
time
I have an arrangement, you guys. 4
and
parts.
sing it.
Oh my god, amazing.
Soprano,
Finale.
alto, tenor, bass. Yep.
Yes. That's a very short song. It's only 2 minutes long.
2.5.
They can yeah, it's 2 minutes.
There you go.
They can
Fantastic.
easily do this song.
Love it.
Okay. All right. That
Love
was our
it.
fun segment. Before predictions, sorry, we keep
Wait,
adding
did we
more.
find
No,
find
one
the
more thing.
audio clip of Marisa Serafini singing?
Oh yeah.
No, you won't.
No?
Unless I post it. All right.
For anyone in the chat room, please
No?
find it.
Oh,
Damn.
All right.
man.
How about I tie this into it?
Okay.
Because I'm going to read a review that someone left on iTunes. Thank you, everyone, for who's been listening, rating, commenting, downloading, subscribing. Everyone's been awesome. We did ask you to rate and comment, and one of you guys did. So I'm going to read you out right now. Goose497 gave us 5 stars. He says, "Great show. These guys are super in depth and enhance the experience of watching the show with their analysis. It's gotten to the point that I look forward to the podcast as much as the show itself."
Goose.
Oh, we
So
love
thank you,
Goose.
Goose.
You're the man, Goose.
I think that's
Or woman.
Justin. I think that's Justin.
There you go.
Aw.
Rate,
If it
comment,
is Justin, we love
subscribe.
you too.
We will
weird I
shout
know
you
that.
out. All right.
not a creepy.
Predictions.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Ty, you're beaming.
I will never not love this.
I love
Every
it.
single
People
show
are
that
so
I'm
close.
on.
So concrete.
Like
the
aliens
opposite
will
from
drop
you.
down.
You guys
exactly
are
right.
watching the lights flash every time we hear predictions.
Yeah.
Go.
Oh jeez.
Yeah.
Oh
You were
no.
very excited.
Oh man.
I thought you had something to
Oh
say.
no, I just get really excited for the lights and the sounds.
We're 8.
I completely-
Hashtag puberty
Yeah.
time.
I completely forgot about
what we
actually
were
having
doing.
predictions.
All right. So while you think,
Yes,
Jeff, we'll go
please.
to you then.
Okay, I bet there'll be like they'll rehearse, and I bet there'll be some infighting in the group, and I think the solo's gonna get picked, but maybe be too timid, but they'll go to someone's house, then they'll go compete, and then I think at the competition, either Stay Tuned or Highland Voices will win, but the other team will get second.
Okay, well, we did see in the
Hilarious.
previews a one small snippet of Defying Gravity. Is
Yeah.
Highland Voices doing Wicked?
I hope.
Absolutely.
Do you
Well,
think they have the
Maddie-
talent to do
See
Wicked?
Maddie singing it, and I'm calling it right now. It's going to be Maddie and Vanessa singing it together. One of them's going to be the
Oh,
good
you're
witch, one of them's going to be the
so
bad
right.
witch,
For
and it's going to be this
sure.
full-on Broadway extravaganza. I'm super excited
It's
for it.
perfect too because Maddie is so Alphaba and Vanessa's so Glenda.
Yep, calling it.
Yeah.
Although Deke said that he has something up his sleeve,
Oh yeah.
and I'm really curious as to what you guys think that might be. He says he
know.
still has a trick up his sleeve.
You know what I would like? I don't know if it'd be a trick, but it would be fun to see other coaches or like other musicians come in just to give.
That
That's-
would be
that's what I
really
was
nice
thinking it
for
was
the
gonna
show,
be,
like how they
yeah.
do on The Voice, and they have like random.
Yeah, just get
people
in
come
Taylor Swift will show
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Just get someone else's perspective and be like, you guys are great. This is also
Sure.
something to just, give them another voice.
Ed Boyer, maybe? If you guys know acapella,
Maybe.
that would be pretty
Ed
cool.
Boyer would be
Or they
great.
just like switched coaches.
Oh,
Oh man, crisscross.
that would be
That would be terrible.
Okay.
No, but what do you think?
I
Deke's
really want to
trick
see
is?
that now.
I don't know.
I
We'll
hope
have
it's
to
like
find
just
out.
magic.
That was exactly-
I hope he just pulls something out of his sleeve.
A
Just
literal.
like full on magic.
I bet
trick?
Deke loves magic.
I
You heard
bet
it
he
here
does
first.
too.
I love magic.
Maybe. All right.
No, I think that was the very first place my mind went to was like a guest.
Magic?
A guest coach.
Yeah.
Like someone.
coach.
Yeah, someone.
I don't think so. I feel like that's against the rules.
Or Deke
the
actually
rules.
performs for them.
I hope.
No, it's got to be a trick he has up his sleeve. Like
I
I
don't know.
think.
do
I
you
don't
think?
know.
I don't know. All right.
What do you think? Get it? What do you
Anything
think?
else?
I don't know. I
No?
think
We
it's
love
like
you guys.
He's done a mashup though, so I don't know.
Yes, we do love this show. Thank you, everyone who's been listening and watching us, tuning in every single week. You guys are awesome. Where can they keep following you?
Hey guys, as always, you can find me on Twitter at Jeffrey C. Graham, Instagram at Jeffrey Crane Graham. Really quick, I do have to plug my college a cappella group, Open Fifth from Miami University of Ohio. Just got 2 Cara nominations, which is actually a pretty big deal. Aiden Leahy for Best Solo, and a kind of inappropriate college song. It's Up Down by T-Pain, but our arrangement was nominated
There we
for
go.
Best Male.
Get
Okay,
it.
college.
Yeah,
High
it's
school would be
it's pretty
super
awesome. The
inappropriate.
CD's called Late Night. I would highly recommend it to any acapella fans.
Okay,
Awesome.
Lindsay.
Super duper.
Lindsay.
I'm Lindsay Miller. You can find me on everywhere on social media at Rockin' Mama Life,
Including Periscope.
including Periscope, which I'm now getting super.
We had a fun
successful at.
Periscope
Super successful
before our show.
Periscope tonight,
Yeah.
guys.
Definitely
So
tune
proud
in.
of Lindsay.
Still can't figure out how to turn it off.
You can find me on Twitter, on Instagram at Ty Matthews PMA. Various other after shows: Monday Night Raw, Second Chance, The Magicians, Lucha Underground, all that good stuff. Get it?
Get it. And you can follow me on Twitter at Serafini TV. You can follow all of us here on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all those fun social media platforms at AfterBuzz TV. Rate, comment, subscribe, download, tell a friend. We're here every single week. We love the show. We love talking to you guys. Thank you, everyone, and for tuning in every week. Thanks, you guys. We'll see you next time.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.